Welcome, everyone, to another Club Baroness podcast. We're also live on the stream for anybody who's watching. If you haven't seen it, we'll drop the link in the chat as well. We've got several guests tonight. I've got first here with me Mechnigel,
Hello, thanks for having me.
Mirage,
Hey everyone, how we doing?
Evolution,
What up?
and lastly, Xanxus.
Everyone.
And so we'll be going over the results for the round one of this summer tag tournament that we're running here, 2019. And then we'll be making predictions for round two with maybe one or two other short topics. I'm going to turn over the hosting and responsibilities, though, to Evolution if you want to kick us off.
I'll be running the show tonight. Thank you, Bregan. We're going to start off with the recap of round one. And the first match that I have on my list is Nathan O and Wolfo versus Game God and Invoker of Legend. This was a fantastic match. It was a nail biter. At one point in time during it where I didn't know what was going to happen, and I want to get some input from some of you guys. If anyone wants to kick it off, maybe Mirage, start us off on this one if you got to see it.
I'm actually powering through that one currently, so I'm gonna let somebody else take that one.
Go ahead, Mechnigel.
Yeah, I think this one was like pretty fun and enjoyable to watch. I mean, it's a good length. I mean, between the pretty clutch pickups on Pano that I think Game God had with the who is it that had the zero -2 damage? Was that Wolfo?
I think that was that Palace, and that was Nathan had -2, and Wolf wasn't digging for an Armoros watch.
Right. Yeah, I thought that was pretty enjoyable. I can't remember who took that round, but I mean, with the next one, I thought that the hang was pretty, the soft hang was pretty good and interesting. But yeah, overall, this
The
one was
recap
definitely.
for that round was Game God and Invoker won on Palace, they won on Refinery, and they won on Lane. They lost on City though. They lost to a pretty nasty hang, memory lapse.
Right. Yeah, that was a pretty
Sure.
pretty fun one to watch.
Yeah, it was a 3-1, pretty hard victory. What do you think about it, Xanxus?
It's kind of the way I predicted, unless like Nathan Wolf were going to be playing Jank. That's kind of the only rounds I saw them winning. Would be if they did something funky, which happened in that map. But Booker was doing a good job. I think it was either Lane or was that the final map.
The last map they played was Lane, yeah.
He was doing a good job at like 2v1ing, fighting them both as well.
Yeah, he was.
So.
He did that in Palace too. He had like 4 health or 6 health left and was 2v1ing him with a hyper kick and tiger strength and was putting in work. And Nathan O turbulence at like the worst possible time when his partner was like 3 feet away. I don't know if he thought he was on the body or what.
Yeah, he was using
He was
very
probably
basic
trying to make
stuff.
It seemed like when he turd, was he standing over his partner's body? It looked like he was
wasn't.
Just okay.
Yeah, the body was near the tables. Nathan O was in the like corner of that little cubby area.
Okay, yeah, that's.
I think he might have thought that Wolf's body was there though.
Yeah, it seemed like a misclick. Like I feel like I've done that so many times that that's what it looked like to me.
What do you think, Bregan? What do you think of that matchup?
Watching that matchup, I mean, I still feel like Nathan and Wolf kind of went down to just reincarnation and Armoros. And in these modern day tournaments, you've got to be able to deal with more than that if you're looking to make a deep run. So I'm hoping to see some adaptation out of those two because it was really just two skills that took them down. The memory lapse play was good on City. That's kind of, their old classic bread and butter, so it was kind of fun to see a modern version where they have to use jump to hang it, and that was fun. I was glad to see it work and then pick up a win, but I'd like to see more out of those guys. Game God and Invoker looked fairly decent in the series, but I'm expecting more out of Nathan and Wolf, and I need them to adapt to not getting taken down by Armoros.
Yeah, me and Zam got to play them the night before, and we noticed that Armoros was kind of shutting down their entire arsenals. I didn't see a whole lot of answers to it. There were a lot of games we played where they had stats, and one Armoros finished them. We were hoping that I saw them in the Arsenal lab after we played them, and I was thinking they were going to fix that, but not sure. But it was a fun match altogether. But let's move on. The next one that I have on my list is Filthy Fingit and Mr. Math versus Kamikaze Mario and I'm Kanye West. Zane, you want to take this one for us?
That one was a pretty quick game. Just aggression the whole time from what I saw from Mario and Kanye. Just looked like
Yeah.
like Math was just a bit rusty from his
It was a
movement
shutout
wasn't
for
the
sure.
same. Yeah.
Now we're used to seeing Math make those heroic dodges and hero moves and hero pickups, and he was making little mistakes that if he was, putting in the time as of late, he wouldn't be making.
I think another
Bregan
thing
called
was
him out on it numerous times on Palace, going back to his base as a cartwheeler against Five Blazer, no shield. That was bad moves.
that's what I was going to call it as well, because during in a position like that, you have to just stay close range with whatever you got. So
What do you think, Bregan?
I'm sorry, come back to me real quick.
All right.
I mean, I think the Palace match, like, I have to give a little bit of credit to just Mario, how fast he got to vibration. I mean, that was pretty rough. And yeah, I'd agree. It was not. I didn't watch the predictions for this matchup, but it seemed like just on the title, I was looking forward to a little bit more kind of a fun matchup. But the pressure, they just had the pressure on so hard, and then a couple of maybe the decisions.
I don't have the predictions in front of me, but I do remember Murder and I both said that it would be a 3-0 due to the time Mario and Kanye are putting in and the lack of time that, Math and Filthy are not. And I knew right away that was going to be a big game changer, and it showed. Mirage, did you catch this one?
Yeah, it was a good match. I mean, like you said, like everyone said, it was pretty quick. But you could definitely see the rust. Like there was some times, like on the highway map, especially, you could see Filthy just misguiding that or misjudging that the distance on those explosions he was trying to get off, and it was definitely rust. You could see like you said, we're definitely used to seeing a little bit more out of Math. But you could definitely see that just playing a lot gets you that extra knowledge. Like, okay, you can just visually see, okay, this is gonna hit. If I'm close enough to hit this explosion, I'm not close enough. I need to take one more step in. And there was just a couple times where he was just that one step away from hitting an explosion or getting a sword to hit or whatever it may be. So it was definitely rust, I think, more than anything. I could see if, like you said, Math, and Filthy play a little bit more in between tournament matches, we could see more of them.
Highway for me was it really showed the most because I watched Kanye's view. He live streamed it. I don't know if anyone else caught it. So like on Highway, you didn't see you saw Filthy pick up Math, but you didn't see what took him down so fast the second time. And it was Kanye with crawlers, man. I mean, there was a time where you couldn't hit Math with hardly any move if it was a one-on-one. He would just cartwheel it, find a way out of it. Kanye dismantled crawlers just instantly. That's that not putting in the time. Just people take it for granted, but putting in the effort keeps you warm, keeps that muscle memory going. Bregan, do you want to chime in or you want us to move on?
I thought it was a good match to watch. It definitely shows that Filthy and Math have a lot of work to do if they want to make a serious run in the tournament. I think Kamikaze Mario and I'm Kanye West both showed us that they're going to be a higher level team than I think some people might have originally guessed based on the pairing. They looked really good together. They're both some of the most active players right now, so they are very much in practice, and I think they are looking to crack top four with the form they've shown so far. Filthy and Math, though, definitely have a bit of a road to go if they're going to make a deeper run and make the playoff cut.
I agree. I think it's worth noting though that it's not out of their range. Like they have it within grasp to make that long run, if not more. But it all keeps going back to that original circle point. You just got to put in the time, the effort. let's move on. The next match on the list is my match, Zan and my match. So we'll stay silent. It's Silent 79 and Gotrix versus myself and Xanxus. Whoever would like to take it away, go for it.
I actually did watch this match. This Mirage. I watched this match mainly because we're playing these guys in round 2. And it was, I mean, you guys handled it pretty hands down. And I don't think I saw enough or as much jank as I expected out of them. There was one or two times when, especially at the unseen or sign at the end, I think you guys went a little cheeky, but they had you guys on the ropes there for a minute. The vicious balance was working, but then they got some. I forget who it was. Got some order at the end there, and had a chance to pull out something there at the end. But I think it was a pretty handily 3-0 from not enough jackpot. I don't think.
All right. Mech, got anything to put in on this?
Yeah, I thought the sign matchup was really fun to watch again because it seemed like, I mean, you know what's happening because you're watching from your Evo's perspective. Um, so that was pretty fun to watch. That's the first time I've seen the level baton used with with the vicious balance combo in that way. I think the Pano match was pretty standard. I think there weren't any like major mistakes. I think you guys just outplayed them. I think there was one lightning sword. I think that there might have been a friendly fire there. But then the city one, I was kind of the
We
city one
we
was
didn't play.
surprising because I mean from the pit you're dishing out. I mean you're probably throwing like 20 lasers before they even shot anything back at you. From what I remember, I mean you took a couple hits, but it seemed like that was either just a bad draw on their end, um, but it seemed like a missed opportunity there. But overall, either way, I mean the Pano match was solid, and then the sign was really interesting
We
and
we didn't
enjoyable to watch.
we didn't play Pano. We played Palace, City, and Sign.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant. Pano, Palace, PA.
Bregan.
Yeah. You want to chime in
Um,
on this one?
Yep. Every match.
All right. Well, yeah, I thought it was definitely a good showing out of you guys as the returning champions. You did quite well there. I was really impressed with your form. Silent and Goat are a team that has played together several times, so they aren't exactly nobodies that you were taking down either. So it was definitely an impressive showing. Hopefully, we get some more out of them. I know they haven't been playing a whole lot lately, so we might get to see a little bit more of them in a better form out of them further down the road. But definitely looking good and looking like the contenders that most people predicted you to be after that match.
Thank you, sir. Zan, do you have anything you want to chime in with before we move on?
Really? Not on that match.
Hmm?
I said I'm good
No?
for the match. I mean,
Okay.
for the most part, it was just. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
My audio
Hello?
went off.
Oh.
For that much, it was just on our part, we just went in before they can set up anything. So
All right. Our next match is SC War Machine 21, Sardonic Jester versus Esper 51, and PDDCM, also known as Eldavio.
All right, you were asking for memes, so I made a meme from this one, and I'm going to take this one. I sent it to you guys in the Facebook chat and on Discord. If you want to pull it up, you can see it too. This was a really fun match. A lot of it was really back and forth, and we had very close games. We'll probably dig into those more, but I just want to bring people back to lane, where we were watching from the perspective of Jester, and he gets rushed by Esper, and he just juggles him with an ice sword for like a minute and a half, just hitting him in 10-second intervals. He was frozen for almost a minute and a half in that lane match while trying to get off their memory lapse combo that they were doing. And that was just brutal. I know that would tilt the heck out of me. But they still won lane.
It got so bad, he overwrote an attack, I think, for an Iron Skin, and Esper was already out of Ice Sword uses.
Yep. Yeah, it was absurd. I just watched it, and he kept trying to hop fences and dance around it. Yeah, sometimes dead is better.
I mean, I remember he did a pretty good job hopping the fences. I mean, in all honesty, like,
He did a great job, but it's Esper with an ice sword, so
yeah, that was pretty fun to watch. But the fact that they, continued grinding and got I guess they didn't have Esper and PDDCM. They didn't have a Rian, right? After that, it was, or no, just Esper had the Rian, right? And so after that, it was just a juggle between them.
yep.
Yeah. So even that was pretty fun to watch, because that map, there's a lot of angles, and tricky areas. So it was still enjoyable to watch.
Yeah. PD had a gnarly pickup on lane 2. 2 health, nothing left against double Rian, and he made the pickup. And granted, they didn't win that match, but it was phenomenal. And you could hear the tilt in, SE and Jester's voice when he did that, when he dodged the Rian going up the stairs.
Well, there was lots of other good matches in there too. We should definitely talk about some of the other maps.
Yeah,
Palace was just a beatdown.
Palace was, it was
was.
just a brawl match. It was just a back and forth, like heavyweight battle, and then like the lasers that were going off on City were just crazy. And then there was some swordplay that was just like back and forth, like changing focus, changing target, switching, like hitting a sword this way, then turning around and shooting a laser that way, like super quick reaction speed, and it was definitely fun to watch that match.
I still stick to what I originally said, which is I don't think they will make a good team, just because they play so differently. And for how amazing of a showing that match was, I feel like my point was proven in the very last match. Like, you're on the wire, you're so close to either winning or losing, and Esper runs one of his fun arsenals, which is like L-Bomb and Charge Particle and I think speed ups. Like, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me why you would like pull such a risky maneuver, but it worked for him. So
I mean, the L-Bomb I can see because it looks like Vibration Blaster, and so whether you're checking a shield or trying to combo it, I mean, for at least a wheeler in an open space, I mean, it's not like completely unheard of. I mean, if you can get an 8 damage vibration laser blaster behind it, I'd say it's worth it. But yeah, in that context, it was.
Even though they work so well together, I've never liked running Vibration Blaster with L-Bomb, just because of how cluttered you have to build the arsenal now. I mean, you have to rely on level not level berserks, but level boost mines. There's just so much that you could invest in other attacks or shields, and it just to me they don't mesh well.
And it's a really costly combo. I mean, it's like
a long setup.
5 for the L-Bomb, I think.
I think it's 4 and 8 cost combo.
Yeah, so either way, like once you do it once, yeah, I can understand. It's fun though, because I definitely try it more than I should. I have to defend it a little bit.
Zan, got anything you want to put in on this?
This one was probably my favorite match out of all of them. It was really back and forth. Their 30-minute video of back and forth. So
yeah, it was the only match that we had that went 3-2, right? So it definitely was a longer video to watch, and it definitely went to the wire. It was like you said, back and forth, heavyweight battle. Like it was just those guys hitting back and forth. It was a good match for sure to watch.
Palace, that's still my favorite map out of all of them, though. Like, I don't remember if it was War Machine or Sardonic's perspective we were following, but that manual Rian on the bridge to get the fall, that was clutch. Anyone else got any input, or are we ready to move on?
I think we're good for that one.
All right. Our next one is Affin and Renketsu versus First Skaboss and Daffy Duck. Bregan? Zan? Either one of you two want to take this one?
Didn't really get to watch this one.
I actually did watch it. This is Mirage. It was pretty quick. It was definitely, I mean, it was a 3-0, but that panel match, the last match, last map on that, where like it was close. There was a point where Daffy and Friscat were at 2 health each, and the other team, Affen, and his partner were both at 1 health each. Like that is as close as a match can possibly be. And it was pretty fun to watch that back and forth.
Communication was key there. I know Affen was going for the revive, and Ren wasn't aware of it, and they got themselves out in the open when Affen finally hit the Psycho Knife. Palace, I think one of them was running Bloody Ritual, while the other had kind of a slow build-up. Oh, I don't remember, was it a Vibration Blaster deck? I'm not sure. But I know that, they made comment when the video was going that he's like, I'm running Bloody Ritual, so I need you to stay on him. And like he said that, and he was just getting swarmed in his base. Daffy and Skaboss took down, I think, Ren, I want to say, in his base behind the tree so fast with that Psycho Blade and Rian, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was at a minute 5 mark, pretty much.
It was bad. And then Affen had all the chances in the world to jump down from his base and run over and try to get that pickup, and he was still digging, I guess, for a shield. So, a little bit of communication, and I think his team can do a lot better. Bregan?
Yeah, I think with a little bit more coordination, they have a shot. I've told Affen before, maybe cool it on some of those environmentals. I think it was Affen that laid the Opti on Palace, but that just completely spelled their doom. They laid down an Opti and they died about 30 seconds later. It was rough.
Yeah, Opti and Bloody don't mix well.
Mm-mm.
Anyone else?
I mean, especially on maybe we're beating a dead horse, but the Palace match, it's like, how much damage did the Psycho Blade do? I mean, it pretty much killed them both. So it's like laying the Opti, it seemed just like, if you're not ready, like you see it all the time where either you or your partner's not ready for either A, the pressure, or B, to defend what's coming, and then it's just 40 damage or 30 damage of Psycho Blade in a couple minutes, and that was that.
One thing I've noticed that I want our viewers to take note of, my personal experience with Opti, with the exception of Ricochet Laser, because I think that is OP, but Opti and small damage spammy moves like Rian or Willow or Venom Fang or Flame Sword, I think those overpower the heavy damage, high cost moves that typically are paired with Opti, like Photon Burst, Killer Satellite, stuff like that. Anytime I've ever played against someone running stuff like that, I always feel, or vice versa, if I've tried to make an arsenal where it's heavy cost Opti, I always get overpowered by small spammy moves. So that's my experience. It might differ for others, but I'm against it. Big time against it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the meta nowadays. I mean, correct me if you guys think opposite, but I think like rushdown and quick hitting, getting to something quick, and just aggression is definitely where the meta is right now.
Beatdown builds are, in my opinion, by far the meta right now.
I mean, it is the first round too, so for immediate pressure and aggression and just straight up playing it straight up is kind of what I expected as well. And as it evolves and the people and the players and teams start to know each other and they know their tendencies and histories, they start coming out with some of the more, I guess, less straight up matches, which might be part of it too. But
yeah, you'll definitely be able to see. Sorry, you'll definitely be able to see what people are doing this tournament as opposed to what they did last tournament, maybe with a different partner or whatever, and then you'll see teams definitely catering and their arsenals to whoever they're going up against, I think.
Mm-hmm. All right, so our next match is Murder Mastodon and Ebony Starface versus Sleepy Inferno and Dawn the Legend. Bregan, you want to take this one?
Do you want to do? Yeah, we can do that one. I actually made a meme for this one too. You skipped the previous match, so I wasn't sure.
Oh, I skipped you?
Yeah. So
My bad.
Yeah, you got me off guard. I was going to send this one to everyone. So
I'm sure it was on accident.
Yeah, I'll send it over now. I'll send
Just
it
a
over
little
to
mind
everybody
games.
now.
Just a little mind games.
So, I mean, this is a rough one. Dawn the Legend and Sleepy Inferno, I believe that's their names, right?
Yes.
They had a really tough draw for round one. That was not easy. I paint Murder and Ebony as my other favorites for the tournament. I think they're probably my front runners for the winners right now, up there, and they definitely showed exactly how good they were. And then they decided to dunk on them in round 3 as well. They used some sort of race. I don't remember exactly what they used, but it was definitely a tough life there. And the meme also reflects that, if you've seen that yet.
I have.
It was a rough day for those guys. I
Yeah,
think
it wasn't fun.
I think we'll get to see some more fun out of them. I think they're gonna have a better round 2, and they'll get to play probably more balanced teams for their skill level going into rounds 2, 3, and 4. So that should be a lot more fun for them and for us to get to watch that, because I know that hurt a little bit to watch for me, just because
It's worth
it felt
noting.
bad, you know.
It's worth noting Murder messed up numerous times. He was told to bring an orb on Highway. He just brought an amulet and then overrode it. On Refinery, he didn't mess up, but it just happens that the arsenal he ran with Ebony was a violent change build where he was low on capsule count and his opponent had a diabolical trick. Like it was dangerous. They had a couple moments there where it could have went the other way. Just one thing or another changes and it could have went the other way on those maps.
Yeah, it was a rough series all around. I think that their subsequent round should be a lot more fun for them. But Murder and Ebony definitely played up to the level we expect, albeit with a few mistakes. Anybody
Yeah,
else
getting
want to
that-
chime in on that match?
I was just gonna say,
They
getting
just
that
ran
first
into a
round
tough
draw.
team. That's all.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Zan?
Just said they ran into a tough team. Like the
Oh, yeah.
Murder and Ebony would be someone I could see going to the finals. So
Oh yeah, they definitely ran into what I still think is the most defensive team currently in the roster. Um, not many more teams out there pack as many shields as they do, so it's hard to get through that wall. And then they're both excellent technical dodgers as well, so that also topples it. Mirage, what were you saying, buddy?
I was just saying it's tough to get that hard first round pull, especially for some guys that are maybe not as veteran. That's just tough to get it like that. And then there was definitely some mistakes made as far as like targets chosen and stuff early on, especially like in Palace. I think they ran away from Murder, and he was just throwing a slide laser from range, where they should have rushed him because he was the one with ranged. They went after Ebony instead, and it was bad. Um, but like Bregan said, the next couple rounds, they got that one out of the way, and hopefully they'll have some success and fun in the next couple rounds, and we'll see some stuff out of them and some close matches, and hopefully a couple wins.
Agreed. Mech, anything to add?
Not much. I mean, the only comment I'd add, just as a feedback point, I think the Refinery match, I think Sleepy was really relying on that crawlers, which is a pretty. I'm not. Maybe it's just that's what he had and that's what he went with in that arsenal, because it came up quickly. But that's a pretty tough skill. I mean, in Refinery, it seems like, because of just the fact that there's straight paths, there's limited straight paths, right? So I would say that would be my only comment, additional comment, is to either override it and find a different attack on that map, or exclude it. But I didn't see the full arsenal set, so.
Yeah, you got to know your opponents too. You can't bring a move that relies on your opponent staying in a straight line, like you said, especially against an opponent like Ebony, who has absolutely no problems jumping off the map to avoid anything. Let's move backwards. I accidentally skipped over Snowrise and Snow Schmidt versus Team Tilt, Bregan 1-2-3, and some poor choices. Anyone want to take that one for us?
Team Poor
Zan?
Bregan. It was a pretty
Thank
quick.
you so much. Thank you.
It was a pretty quick match. there was, I mean, there wasn't much to it. I don't think as far as the win was concerned on Team Poor Brigand's choice. Um, or side, I guess I'd say. I don't know. It was a good match. I think the same thing with Snow, the Snow team, the Snow Bunnies. It's going to be tough for them to pull these two guys in the first round too. That's a tough matchup for them.
That was a bad draw.
Yeah, it is for sure a bad draw. And like same thing with the other teams. Like I think we'll see more of them coming up in the next couple matches.
I really did enjoy seeing Bregan get beat over the head with his own rock shot. That was really fun on Refinery.
Friendship
enjoyed
ended
that.
with Evo. Now Mirage is my best friend.
Snowrise and Snow Choice, or yeah, Snow Choice, Snow Schmidt. They wanted to play the jank. You could feel it just in them. They wanted to run that memory lapse, but they didn't. They didn't secure the hang. They wanted to run the vicious balance. I helped them out a little bit with a level baton build. The one you saw me and Zan use actually, and they chose to run it during their lag test, but not during the actual match. I was a little upset about that, Snowrise and Snow Schmidt. Hurt my feelings a little bit. So with the exception of Rock Shot, that was my favorite part. That was awesome. You guys got to work on that communication. Got to work on slowing it down. Like you listen to them when they're playing, they were very amped up, very frantic. Breathe, slow down, and focus. Just start coordinating everything. Don't separate. Whoever your next opponents are, just go for them. If you're able to, double team. Work together. Stay out of the dual melee, because you guys have a lot of potential to go far if you put those things together, I think. But you ran into a tough team, so
Yeah, definitely a tough team. That was it Rian Crawlers on Palace? Or
yeah.
yeah, that's tough.
I
Was it
honestly
Palace
don't
or
remember.
Pano? I think it's Pano. It was tough. That's a tough matchup, but like we'll see more of them for sure. And it seems like they are wanting to play. It seems like they're playing pretty often, and they're actually putting in the work, unlike some people. Cough, cough. But yeah, I think we'll see good things.
Nigel?
I mean, I think what you said about staying cool, I mean, I think that's a great tip. But I think about being in their shoes against Bregan, just constant pressure. I mean, those are it's pretty rough setups. But definitely it showed. I mean, even on the Refinery, that's kind of I thought that was kind of an awkward choice. Were they both wheelers, or I just remember like there was one point
Dual
where
wheeler, yeah.
someone, Bregan was in their face with, I don't know what it was, but it's kind of a low. I don't know what it was, but it seemed like he wasn't gonna hit them at that range, but they ended up wheeling off and taking like 6 or 9 damage just from trying to dodge the pressure. And I understand, right? I mean, it's Bregan in your face, right? Trying to hit a rock shot, point blank. But it, I just that really rung true, and I can understand really high pressure players there. So
Right. My hat's off to Bregan and Choices. They they had a very strong showing. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. Bregan had a very strong showing that match. I didn't even know that Poor Choices was playing until about halfway through. I thought Bregan was playing with Guard, the Arsenal test robot. But
I had the best master as my teammate. He just used downcast the whole time.
Poor Choices was there apparently. I never saw him, but he was there. I hope he doesn't show up, coming up either. But hats off to you, Bregan. You had a pretty good showing, with the exception of getting hit in the face with rock shot.
I probably shouldn't have been playing what I was playing on Refinery in the first place, but yeah, it was a good match. I think that if they play more like they did on Refinery, if they can kind of capture some of that essence of the aggression, because they did get some good damage down on Refinery. If they can capture that essence, run with it, fix up some of their arsenal builds, those guys could actually start upsetting some other teams.
I think so too. I think you said you have a meme for us for your match.
No, I had one for the murder match.
Okay. I thought you had one for yourself as well. Okay. So
No,
our
but I
next
got one
matchup.
for you later.
Oh, yay. All right. Our next and final matchup of round 1 was Mirage and Darcia versus Shadow Shield and Xanxus. Bregan, take it away for us.
Shadow Shield and Xanxus, they looked really good in this one. The first match, okay, so I say that, but then I'm gonna regress and say that in the first match, Zex like didn't know his head from his ass. It was a little rough. He was getting beat on pretty hard there. I really liked the pressure that Mirage put down on him there, and then Darcia was doing well on him. They came back and they won towards the end, I believe, because it was a 3-0, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they came back and they won, but Xanxus was real sloppy in that first match. But then we kind of saw them come more into their own as Highway came, because the expectation's been out of this team that Shadow Shield's just going to do Shadow Shield things, i.e., Psycho Burst, and Xanxus is probably the best pressure player in the game.
We saw it. We called it. And we
And we
saw it
did
on
see
Highway,
that on
that
Highway,
slide laser.
but they
Yeah.
switched roles on Palace. We had
Right.
we had Shadow Shield running Reincarnation, and then Xanxus using budget Psycho Burst using Aura Backflow, and it wasn't super hot. I don't want to see that again. I think
Stick to what you're good at.
as meme worthy as it is, just keep Shadow Shield on his Psycho Burst, because there's really not a great way to shut it down. When he runs that kind of stuff, because he's very versatile with it somehow, despite it being just one move.
But there is, sir. Athena's command does wonders.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't count on getting a hang like that every match either. But I say, keep running that and just let Xanxus play the pressure game. I did not like what they did on Palace. Panorama was just panorama thing, so you can't really draw many conclusions from that. But I want to see them do what they did on Highway and not reverse roles like they did on Palace. And it's always good to see as well. Mirage and Darcia, they have a serious Palace game. Like every time they play, even like teams that you would have pegged as top 3,
They beat us
they
last.
take them.
They beat me and Zan.
They take them to task on Palace. They play
Bro,
it real
last
tight on
tournament,
Palace.
They fucked us up so bad with Bundled Blaster. It was unreal. Like that match was over within like 2.5 minutes.
Yep. And we see that again. I want to see them brush up some of their other maps and get that kind of same pressure and starts on other maps as well. But man, they sure bring people to task on Palace. I thought that was a fun match to watch all around, because Palace was a good showing out of them, and then the Highway match was kind of what I expected out of Xanxus and
that's the biggest thing I hate about a cartwheeler facing Shadow Shield, because if you have a player like Xanxus, if he hits you with that slider twist laser, you're getting hit with Psycho Burst. If you cartwheel the slider twist laser, you're getting hit with Psycho Burst. So cartwheeling against a team like Shadow and Xanxus, for me, is not recommended, in my opinion. Like, I don't know, just it's dangerous, it's risky. But anyone got Mirage. Mech, you got anything to add for this?
Yeah, I couldn't hit my mic button. Yeah, I thought the Pano one was awesome. I mean, I was expecting Xanxus and Shadow Shield to just come out of the gates and just Psycho Burst to the face 2 times and it'd be over. But that was really enjoyable. I thought that was really tight and close. Kind of just an unlucky combo at the end there that finished him off. So that was pretty fun to watch. The Highway one, yeah, that was just what we expected. I mean, it was still pretty good though, to be honest. I mean, there were some pretty good dodges with Shadow Shield, Psycho Burst. I feel like, I don't know, maybe with the lag it's not a good idea, but I might have gambled a little bit more with those photon waves against the Psycho Burst. I mean, that's the one thing that I thought of. I mean, it's a tough trade, right? Taking 10 to 15 damage versus 4 damage, but at some point I'd take that risk. Maybe not.
I think the biggest mistake I noticed was you're running
The
a
aura.
recall loop. Yeah, the aura.
Yeah.
Once you realize there's quantum amp, start overwriting aura. You want to stay as low as possible.
Yeah,
You're gonna get to 10 with the quantum amp, so you might as well just overwrite everything else.
Yeah, agreed. Unless you're using charge particle or something. Yeah, agreed. The Pano one was the Pano match. Was that where everyone was hitting each other with swords?
Yeah, it was kind of a in your face match the whole time.
Yeah, and I can't remember. I think both teams were taking some friendly fire, and that was another thing. It's like maybe Shadow and Xanxus were just. Oh no, that's the one where Shadow was on his bravery and took a while to get going. But once they started getting into it, it seemed pretty scrappy. So maybe Shadow and Xanxus were put off by the bad start on the bravery. But it seemed or they're too overconfident and just going for stuff. It seemed like there was a lot of sword trades across the board on that match. It's just maybe just a little bit more coordination on who's doing what. But it's Pano, as Bregan said. It's Pano things. Pano things.
Yes, sir. For our viewers, Xanxus had to step away for a moment. Mirage, do you have anything you want to add from that match?
Yeah, I mean, it was a close match. Like Bregan said, normally, for some reason, whatever it is, we play Palace really well. And we had them on that Palace match, and they said the same thing after the match. If you go back and look at it, when I figure who was coming to get that pickup up top, but Darcia fell off of the top and fell down to the bottom. If he hadn't fallen right there, I think he would have gotten that last hit before the pickup. It was definitely a close match.
Oh gosh,
we
I
had
remember that. That was tilted.
Yeah, Darcia fell. And
I was like, if he just times
hurt.
that, he's got the execute. It's a move I've done 100 times, and he fell.
Yeah, he fell, so it hurt, and we definitely we could have taken the match, and we definitely got overconfident once. It was a beating in the beginning, we were beating them down, and so we got a little overconfident, oh, we got this, and yeah, they came back and won. It was a good match on their part. Highway was definitely, you could see the teamwork from those two. They came at me first and ran that combo and took a burst, and there was no getting away from it on my end, and then. Pano, I was going dance and I just couldn't get it. Couldn't get it going and couldn't get a hit off with dance. I had a quick dance of death, 14 damage dance, super fast, and I couldn't connect with it.
All right, so I think that concludes our round one. Oh, you got something else to add?
I was gonna say, I was coughing earlier about not practicing, and everyone could vouch for you. Haven't seen Darcia and I play except for our tournament matches.
Not.
So it's definitely tough in that regard. And we always say we need to play more. That's why I posted tonight, trying to see if I can get some matches tonight before we got to play Silent Goat coming up.
Yeah, definitely put in the work, man. It helps. If anyone has anything left to add about round one, do so now.
I mean, I thought they're really, almost all of them I really enjoyed watching, and that made me hop on last night and get some rounds going. So thanks a lot for the cast and getting it going. All around sweet matches to watch.
Bregan?
I was gonna say, if you wanted to do your favorite match of round one, this would be a good time to do that.
Bregan, what's your favorite match of round one? Can't be your own.
Can't be mine.
Yes, cannot.
I
think I already know.
I mean, the obvious answer is one that I'll leave to somebody else, so I'll take a different one. I actually enjoyed the match we were just talking about quite a bit. I always like getting to see Mirage and Darcia play. I feel like they really step up in tournament play, and they're fun to watch. And then I enjoyed seeing the new dynamic of Xanxus and Shadow Shield. I'm looking forward to seeing more of that because they didn't do it on Palace. They reversed roles on Palace, So I found both of those teams entertaining. So even though it was a shorter series, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the Palace match.
Mirage.
I mean, like Bregan said, the obvious choice is the Esper match, the PDCM. That that match was obviously awesome to watch. It was back and forth, heavy hit, just a lot of quick. It was awesome to see. But I do like seeing some of these less experienced, quote unquote, players get out there and play in tournament play and see with it building up what they're kind of trying to put together, and it's cool to see a fresh take on things. I always love it when tournament time comes up. Darcy and I, like I said, even though we don't play a whole lot, I always like to get into the tournaments and put ourselves up against those people. So I'm definitely excited to see some stuff coming out of this Snow team and a couple of these other guys that did have hard matchups in the round one. I like to see what coming out of them coming up.
Awesome. Mech, what's your favorite of round one?
I mean, I really enjoyed Invoker and Gamer Gods versus Nathan Wolf. I mean, I don't think I came in a little bit later, so I don't think I watched Nathan and Wolf's earlier matches from previous tournaments, but that was kind of enjoyable to me, and I really liked it because it was actually a slower pace. I mean, they only is it was a 20-minute video or so, and I don't know. I thought it was like kind of a relaxing, it was enjoyable to watch. Everyone was pretty solid. A couple of greedy things, a couple of mistakes. But other than that, I thought it was because of the pace. It was kind of a nice change of pace, I guess. So I really enjoyed that matchup.
Well, my favorite actually wasn't the obvious choice. I really enjoyed watching Filthy and Math against Kami and Kanye. Um, even though it was it was I think our shortest match of the round one Swiss round. I really was interested to see because these were the two teams for me that I wasn't sure on the one side how they were going to mesh, and the other side I thought they would mesh well, but I didn't think they were putting in the practice because Kami and Kanye have very opposite styles of play. One is very vanilla and gets rid of jank. The other loves his jank. You know, so it was really interesting to see that they can come together and just put a beat down if they have to, and I really enjoyed watching the whole thing. I don't think Zan, are you back yet? Okay, so Zan's not back yet. So we're going to move on to our round two matchups and discussion. And the first match we have on my list is Esper and PDDCM.
Let's save them for later.
You want me to jump around a little bit?
Just go to the next one. I'm trying to make a meme for them, so I need a few minutes. So
All
just
right,
put
so
them
we
last or something.
There's some other deserving teams of memes, Bregan.
Oh, I guess
All
I
right,
already did do a meme for them. Dang it. Fine.
So our next one is Jester and War Machine versus Nate and Wolf. Who wants to take us off on that one? On opinions on how it's going to go?
Nigel.
I'll have to say Jester and War Machine, just based on, I mean, they're just both solid, right? I mean, I feel like Jester's always been up there, and then War Machine is now up there. I haven't seen much of Nathan Wolf, and I know that they do have their tendencies that are a little bit easy to read, so I don't think that Jester and War Machine will let them get away with as much as Invoker and Game God did. So in terms of, I don't know, 3-1, I don't know, but should be a fun match.
All right, what do you think,
I
Mirage?
agree.
It should be a good match. Like he was saying, I'd like to see Nathan and Wolf put some more effort in as far as getting some time played, and like we all know, all the veterans know that they have it in them to put a strong showing any single game they play. So I'd like to see that happen. I'd like to see them come out and do that. Are we doing? You want to do predictions right now?
Yeah, do
Ebony,
a
or what?
prediction with it as well.
Yeah, throw it in.
Okay, cool. So I mean, I think it's gonna go. I think it's going to go 3-1. I think Nathan and Wolf are going to take one, but I think Jester and War Machine are going to take it 3-1. Unless, like I said, Nathan and Wolf put in some effort and get some games in and maybe hit the lab, then they can make it a game anytime they want to. But for now, I think it's going to be 3-1 Jester and War Machine.
I'm with you on that for the most part. Nathan and Wolf, it is not personal. It always seems like I'm betting against them, but the reason is they haven't changed the way they play since day one of this game. So other teams have evolved, no pun intended, into meta after meta, and this team they found what worked back then, and they've stuck with it. So if that's the case, I'm giving it 3-0 to Jester and War Machine. They had a strong round one showing, and I think they're going to continue that.
All right.
Bregan,
Did you give a match score on that?
Yeah, 3-0.
3-0? Okay. All right. I think it'll be a fun one. I'm hoping to see Nathan and Wolf learn from their mistakes, make some new arsenal builds. They really shouldn't be getting beaten just by 2 skills. So I think that they will adapt to that if they put in a little bit of time. So I'm going to give them actually a 3-2 victory because I believe in the old guard and I want to see them do well. So I think if they put some time in, get some new builds, that they can hang with those players, and that maybe if they build enough dirty things, maybe they can pull off the win.
Okay. So
That's a big prediction.
The next matchup we have is Silent Gotrix versus Mirage and Darcia. Bregan, lead us out on that one.
All right, on this one, I think it's going to be a really balanced match because Mirage and Darcia have a lot of synergy, having played several tournaments together, and they have a lot of quick aggression that definitely favors them. I think Goat and Silent, they have a lot of time played together. I don't know if I'd call it synergy, but they're at least used to each other's company. I think they're both very good players as well, so it's going to be a very balanced match. I think it's going to be a real good brawl. I think we're going to get to see a lot of fun builds and maybe some jank. I think that I will have to tip it 3-2 to Goat and Silent, though.
Mech.
This is a
Trying to
hard
say
one.
Nigel, and it came out
I
with
think
Mech.
I would just start out by tipping it 3-2 to Mirage and Darcia, and I guess again, I don't think I don't play with actually I don't think I've ever played with Go before, but I played with Silent, and just from what I saw in their match and some of the previous ones, I don't think the synergy's there, and so that means if they did pull out jank, I don't see it coming out as cleanly as some of the more veteran partners. And so if I just imagine Mirage and Darcia either playing it straight up, it's pretty close. Again, depending on the map, I might tilt that to Mirage and Darcia. But even when they do bring out the jank, I don't think I've seen much from them. But I still feel that the experience and synergy as a team, it will kind of take that. So 3-2, 3-1, 3-0. Either way, I think Mirage and Darcia have the edge.
So right off the bat, I'm going to give it a 1-0 to Mirage and Darcia because of Palace. They are masters of their craft on Palace. Depending on next map choice, if it's like Lane or Pano, something where Gotrix can really operate with his technical jumping, he's very squirrely using the level changes of the map. If it's something like a map like that, I'm going to give them the victory on that. If it's a long-range map, I'm for sure going to give it to Mirage and Darcia. But if it's close range, aside from Palace, I'm going to lean towards Goat and Silent. But I think my overall prediction is going to be a 3-2 with Silent and Goat taking the victory on. And our next... Well, Mirage,
So that
you got
was
any...
3-2 for Silent and Goat?
Yeah, I'm going to give it to them. Mirage, you got any trash talk you want to do real quick?
What was Mirage's prediction?
Mirage didn't give one.
Oh, that's right, because he's in it.
Predicted.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Xanxus there to give a prediction?
Xanxus, his car just got hit outside of his house. Someone just literally got into an accident with Xanxus's parked car.
Oh,
So he's
dang.
going to be MIA for the rest of the podcast.
I think it's gonna be a good match. I think that like I went back and watched their round one match just to kind of see what was. Garcia and I have not played any games since our last match, and not 100% sure that we will play before our next match. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I think it's fairly safe to say Goat and Silent won't be practicing much on.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we got that going for us. But there was definitely some things in round. I mean, playing some more would fix for me. There was some times when, like I was saying before, I didn't my dance was off. Like I just wasn't getting a hit with it, and a lot of that was because I was misjudging. Like I was just off a sight, and I was like, okay, one more step in, and they would take a step back, and I would just miss. I would just misjudge it, and I would range or just outside of close range, and it just wouldn't connect. And so that if I can even play a few more matches, and I think I can fix some of that stuff. But so it goes.
Don, do you still want us? No, you didn't cut off mid sentence. You're good. Or Mac, you're good. Don, do you
Okay,
still
cool.
want us to hold up on the Esper PDCM or?
You told me I couldn't make a second meme for them, so
All
go
right,
ahead.
Esper PDCM versus Game God and Invoker. I think that Game God and Invoker had a very strong showing. Invoker looked phenomenal. He's always, in my opinion, even though he's one of the new age players, since I've met him, he's been a great player, great with the manuals, great jumper. Game God is, he's up there as a cartwheeler. Obviously, it's hard to rank with cartwheelers because there's really tough competition for cartwheelers in this game, like Gagnon and Xanxus and Xexus. But I think they make a great team. Even though I've just only got to see them one time play, they did very well. They communicated. It was smooth. Esper and PD, it was a wild first round match. So if I had to base it off of my personal opinion of the player, I'm going to go Esper and PDDCM take this 3-1. However, if I'm going to base it off of previous round showings, I'm going to give it to Game God and Invoker 3-2. So I'm kind of torn on that.
So what
But
do you
that
want to
is my
give it?
I can't make it personal. I have to go off a previous round showing. I have to. So I'm gonna give it to Game God and Invoker 3-2.
All right. I mean, I'm gonna have to disagree pretty heavily. I feel like Jester and War Machine looked real good in round one. They're both players that are on an upward trend for me, value wise. And Esper and PD, I know Esper's still struggling with some of his connection, which makes it tough to play. And they hadn't had a lot of time to get games in together, so they haven't gotten a lot of synergy yet. But the more we see out of them, the more I still believe in them as one of our favorites for this tournament. And Game God and Invoker, I feel like they had an easier round one than Esper and PD, so I'm going to still have to go 3. I think I'm going to give them the 3-0. I think Esper and PD can take it on a 3-0.
Bold. Mirage.
That's a little bold. I think that first of all, I'm going to say I playing with and I
You're
have seen
breaking
a
up
lot
quite a
out of
bit there,
him in the
Mirage.
past.
Having a little trouble understanding you.
Is that any better?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was saying that I really enjoy Invoker. I like playing with him a lot. I have played with him in the past, not recently, but I do enjoy his game for sure. Game Gob is always tough, but that Esper and PDDCM match was very good. I'm actually going to give it to Esper and PDDCM 3-2. I think it's going to be our 3-2 match this round. I think it's going to be one of them, if not the only one. That's 3-2. We'll see how that shapes up going down the list. There might be another one on there, maybe two, but definitely it's gonna be a close match. I think. I give it to Esper and PDC in the 3-2.
All right, Nigel, you're
What
the
do you
last
think,
one to
Mick?
chime in on this. What do you got?
You know, I'd say 3-1 Esper and P. I mean, I feel like what have I seen from Game God and Invoker that would really throw them off? You know, because if they both play it straight up, I don't see. I mean, they're all solid players, but just from what I know and what I've seen from both Esper and PD, you know, I think that they're both just too solid from a straight up standpoint. And then, so the only time I really see them losing that one is when Esper brings out the reduced entropy and the chaos or whatever, you know, double environmental that didn't synergize well in that last couple rounds.
Well, and
You guys
that
remember
was
that
that
matchup?
was
It was
Esper and
Pano.
Shadow Shield that did that. I
And
know
he
PD won't let
he
him
took
get
the
away with any of
chaos,
those
or maybe it
bad
was
builds.
chaos and reduced entropy in the same deck. Anyway, that's the only
Yeah,
time I
that was
really
last
see it.
tournament.
Yeah, that was
happen,
last
but
tournament with Shadow Shield, and I know PD won't let him get away with any dumb builds like that. PD and I were both really clean on builds, and he won't let anything like that happen in this tournament. So I don't think you'll see that. I was going to add just one thing, because I didn't mention it was our very first match, and I wasn't thinking about it. One thing that doesn't have me quite a believer, like I thought Invoker played really well in round one, but and Game God played pretty good in most of them as well, but I didn't like their lane setup. Um, you heard me talking about it in the cast. I didn't like the
Yeah.
choice of Arsenal there. And so what that shows for me is that they weren't coordinating decks very well, because if Invoker had known he was going to run that, I think he would have insisted on something else. I really did not like Game God's Arsenal on lane. I felt like it tried to do too many things and didn't do any of them well. So I want to see more out of them. I want to see better Arsenal coordination, and I want to see them play more solid core builds coming into future rounds if I'm going to be a believer.
We shall see. We shall see. All right. So our next match is Filthy and Math versus Rise and Schmidt. I'll take this one. Actually, no, Mech, you take this one.
sorry, I had to reconnect again, so I have no idea.
Filthy and Math versus Snow Rise and Snow Schmidt. Take it away, my friend.
I'd say Filthy and Math 3-0.
And why?
Sorry, I'm just seeing if I disconnect again. I think if I hold my mic too long.
I don't know about that though. 3-1. You saying 3-0, Math and Filthy?
I'd say 3-0. Yeah, I mean, I know they had a really rough start, but I mean, you know, Kanye and Mario just had insane pressure. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like they still are solid players, and I know Rise and Schmidt are on the rise, but I feel like they're just not quite there in terms of just the mechanics and the fundamentals. So that's why I just lean towards the experience on Math and Filthy.
I'm with you on that. Everything you said about that, the mechanics, experience, not shooting down Snow Rise and Snow Schmidt, but they're newcomers. Well, Snow Rise isn't. Snow Rise has been around, but Snow Schmidt is new. This is his first tournament. He's got time to learn. I like the meme breaking. But you know, Filthy and Math, even though they didn't have a very good showing in round one, I think the experience alone that each of them have individually is going to be enough to pull this one. So I'm gonna, unless Snow Rise and Snow Schmidt pull out some jank or do some decent pressure and keep it on like they did on Refinery, I think they're gonna have a rough run on this one. So I'm also gonna give a 3-0 for Math. Mirage.
I'm thinking 3-1. Just in time played, I'm thinking 3-1. Math and Filthy. I do think they pull it out. They need to clean up some of their mechanics. They need to clean up some of that spacing concerns they had in the first round. Some of the misclicks and just missed opportunities they had, I think they will clean it up. But I think that I think Team Snow Bunnies is going to take one round.
What do you think, Bregan?
I played Snowrise and Snow Schmidt in the last one. Um, Again, like if they harness some of that energy that they had going on Refinery, I could see them picking up some wins and making this a close series. So that remains to be seen if they'll be doing that. But Math and Filthy did not look like they had it together. So I'm a little torn because there's so much X factor for both of those teams right now. Will Snowrise and Snow Schmidt take what they did, get some cleaner arsenals, and learn that aggression? Or will Filthy and Math get some sets in, get some of their form back? It makes it really hard to say, but I guess I'll still have to tip it to Math and Filthy 3-2.
All right. Next match, Don the Inferno. Wait, Don the Legend. Sorry, and Inferno versus Affin and Renketsu. I think this is going to be the closest matchup we have so far of this tournament in even skill level. I think this is going to be a knockout drag out between these two. I think this is going to be very close and could go to either one. But I'm going to give it to Affin and Ren for experience again. 3-2. Mirage?
I actually like that prediction. I like that 3-2. I think it's going to be fun to watch. I think it's going to be fun to watch for like a different reason than maybe some of our other matches, like the Mario match
There's
and the
going to be
one
some
coming up.
parity here.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some fun in the match. There's definitely going to be a few errors here and there, but I think it's going to happen on both sides, and I think it's going to be a great learning experience for both of these teams. And I think that I go 3-2. Affin's got a little bit more experience with his partner than the other two, but it should be fun to watch. I look forward to it.
What do you think, Mech?
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to this one. I think I'd just say again, probably Affin and Ren would take this. Hard to say the score, but either way, looking forward to watching it.
What was
I'm
Mirage's
definitely going
prediction?
3-2 Affin. Or that's a 3-2? 3-1. 3-1. 3-1 Affin and Renketsu.
And then what would you say, Nigel? 3-1?
Yeah, I'll just say 3-1. Either way, I think it'll be close each match.
Yeah, I think the matches will be close. I just think that the little bit of experience will pull them through. I don't think we're going to see like Affin and Renketsu have 20 health at the end of each match, but I think it will be close matches, but I think they'll take the rounds.
All right. I think. I don't know. Affin has Affin tendencies. And I worry that Affin tendencies are going to work against them. So I think I'm going to tip it 3-2 to Dawn and Inferno.
I definitely want to be there to cast this match with you, Bregan. This is going to be a great one. We're going to have some laughs, I think.
Did you make your prediction, Evo?
I did. 3-2 to Affin and Ren.
Okay.
All right. Our next match in the list is actually going to be, I think, my personal favorite of this round. It's Kami and Kanye versus Murder and Ebony.
I got
Bregan
one for
starts
this. All right. I got to send it to y'all while I'm doing it, too. All right. I think this one's going to definitely be a fun match, despite the meme I'm putting on the page here. And I think it'll definitely be a fun one to see going into it, because these are both really good teams. I think Kanye and Mario showed up better than I would have originally expected those two to play, because they have differing play styles, and they're not players that I would have put up at the very top before. But they're both looking really good in round one. Their synergy seemed to be really on point. But I know Murder and Ebony have played together a ton, and they are both on form as well, so that does worry me for them. So As you can see the meme that I put there for them. I think Murder and Ebony
Oh.
definitely are coming in with the advantage here. I think they've got the big swagger walking in, and I think it would be a legitimate upset if Kanye and Mario take it, but that is not without the outside of the realm of possibility. And I'll say a 3-0 for Murder and Ebony.
Mm.
Not outside the realm, but a 3-0.
I don't think they're going to do it. I know they're good enough that if upsets happen, like there's good solid players and they can close it out, but I think Ebony and Murder are going to show up with the prep and take them down.
Oh man, I'm giving in mine to Murder and Ebony, but I'm not gonna say a 3-0. I think Kanye and Mario are gonna put up one hell of a fight. I'm not even really inclined to say 3-1. I'm gonna go 3-2. I think Kanye and Kanye are gonna take two match.
I'm at 3-1 on this. Murder and Ebony. I think it's going to be a fun match to watch, but I think that, and I think they'll be close. They'll be close rounds, but I think Murder and Ebony will pull them out. But I think Kanye and Mario definitely steal, or not steal. I think they'll take one for sure.
What about you, Mech?
I'd say 3-1. Murder and Ebony. The way I see it happening is, each team will get one solid game and smash each other, and then the other two will be real close, neck and neck, and it'll just come out 3-1 at the end. Because again, we've seen both teams. I think both teams have weaknesses, honestly, but they're both solid, and so that's why I think, it'll be 3-1, but eventually Murder and Ebony.
There's a lot of parity here too. I love it that it's both former partners, Kanye and Ebony, facing one another. Both are extremely prolific jank, and then you have players like Murder and Mario that are also extremely prolific anti-jank. So I'm really curious to see how this goes. Kanye is always ready with an arm roast, so is Ebony. Ebony is always ready with a shield, so is Kanye. So I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm really excited to watch this one.
Yeah, I think either way, this is going to be a fun match to watch because you're seeing two of the top teams go at it. I think this is one of the better parity matches that we're going to have here, and I think these are two teams that are definitely looking at the top 4 slots right now. So it's a good measurement for later on in the tournament how things are going to look in playoffs watching these two play.
I'm just sitting back grateful I don't have to fight Ebony this early in the tournament. All right.
We all are. We all are.
Who we got next? We have us. Evo and Xanxus versus Bregan and Choices. So Mirage and Mac, you guys are going to take this away for us.
Also, I've got a meme. You demanded memes, and so they're coming. Lots of memes.
You son of a bitch.
It's Team Thunder Thighs and Jansport taking on Team Poor Bregan.
Team Tilt, some bitch.
And we don't get to say much else other than insulting each other. So Mirage and Mechnigel, you're going to have to fight this one out among each other.
Go ahead, Nigel.
Oh, that's
what do
tough.
You got?
Oh,
it's not.
I don't know.
It's not that tough. I mean, it's former champs versus didn't make it through the quarterfinals last tournament.
I had Goat as a partner.
Yeah, well,
No partner shaming.
No, I love Goat. He was good. He was good.
It's
This is
poor
gonna be
choices in Bregan. Is that what it is?
What's that?
Yeah, poor choices in Bregan. Yeah, poor choices.
I mean, either way, it's gonna be good. I think, provided no one tilts.
Well,
So
right.
I think I'm most looking
But you
forward to
lost
just hearing
already.
the voice chat in the match.
Bregan lost already if no one tilts.
We did agree to some form of a gentleman's agreement to just have a brawl too, so you shouldn't see anything cute out of either team. We're just gonna get in there and
for you guys.
We're gonna shake hands and slap each other back and forth until one person gives up. That's the plan.
All
It
right.
sounds good to me.
In that case, I might give it to Evo and Xanxus then, just by just a little bit.
You saying
Shut the
3-2?
unbelievers.
Well, it's hard to say the score because it'll be so close. So I don't know, 3-1.
Okay, let me hold on. I got a question. If you were to put some poor choices up against OG Kuma in a 1v1, who do you give it to?
I haven't really seen OG in 1v1 much, but Choices isn't bad as a 1v1 player. Like, he's pretty good.
Fair enough. Now, if you were to put iDoom up against Bregan in a 1v1, who do you give it to?
Dude, I will clap those cheeks.
What about you?
I'll make it
All
sound
right,
like
I'm
an
sorry.
applause after a major freaking.
That's a call out, Doom. You better show up next tournament. All right, let's go ahead, Mirage, with your prediction.
I think it's gonna be a close match. I think it's gonna be fun to watch. I have not seen choices. I haven't seen choices on Xbox in a while. So I don't know how much practice these guys are getting in on here. I think Xanxus and Io are gonna be ready. I think it's gonna be a close match. Just because the veteran, straight veteran level of both of these teams are up there, and they know what to expect and how to counter a lot of things that both teams are going to throw. And like you said, if it's not going to be real janky, it's just going to be kind of straight up. I think that it's going to be 3-2. I think 3-2 Evo and Thinks. But it's going to be a close match. I mean, I can see them if there's something that happens, or if Evo and Zake override something on accident or misclick, or Bregan and choices just get started real quick on some match on a map or two unexpectedly, that or even faster than they think they're going to. I could see them stealing this and taking the match. But as far as predictions, I say 3-2 Evo and Zake.
All right. I'll leave the violent changes, the vicious balances, and the Dragon Slayers and Lax at home, but Bregan, your bitch ass better be ready for some turbulence and some flame sword to your face.
I won't bring any of the violent change or force sanctuary stuff either.
All right.
But all the rock shot.
Plenty of rock shot to be had.
Can I
It's
just
gonna be
add
fun.
to the Bregan Doom 1v1 scenario?
Yeah, that was the point. I wasn't looking for Bregan's input. I was looking for y'all's.
Just as a tangent, I feel like Bregan 1v1 Doom, Bregan has the upper hand, but Doom 1v2ing Bregan and choices, Doom has the upper hand.
That's kind of true.
And that's
Like,
no
you just
shame
put
to
Doom in
Choices,
tag
but
and like
I've
he's
seen
fine,
Doom,
but 1v1,
Doom,
I
carry
agree.
my heavy ass and 1v2 other players, and he like uses their own timings and against them.
I 100% agree. You put Doom like in a 1v2 with like anybody versus us and he's fine. But in a 1v1, I think I take him. He's never been as good of a 1v1 as he is in tag.
Man, Doom, I hope you're listening, son. I hope you're listening. Damn it, Eric, where are you at? All right, our last match of round 2 is a good one. Xexus and Shadow versus Daffy and Skabaus.
Oh, I got another one for
Like-
this. I
like
it's a
saying
bit of a,
Skabaus.
I'm reusing a meme from before, but this is basically Shadow Shield. Like, that's just who he is. Here, I'll share it to you guys. Somebody else start talking about this match.
I think Zex and Shadow are gonna clap that ass, and I love Daffy and Skabaus. They're my late night crew. I play with them all the time.
Where
But
did this one go?
I don't think they're gonna have an answer for Slide Laser Psycho Burst. You can't. They're dual cartwheeler. I don't see it happening. That's the only reason. They're both playing cartwheeler, and they're gonna get stunned by a low cost move, and they're gonna get hit in the face with a Psycho Burst when they get stunned. I think it's gonna be a 3-0, definitive 3-0. I think.
Yeah, this is going to be a 3-0, I think. Also, it's going to be a tough match. It's a hard pull for these guys. It's going to be a tough match for sure. I think it's going to be a 3-0. And I just don't think they're ready yet, this team, to go against a veteran team like this that's playing on a high caliber like they are.
I mean,
Go ahead,
I'll
Nigel.
give it. I'd give it 3-1 to Zex and Shadow. I think that Daffy and Ska are just really solid players, so I could see it, them just easily getting a win. But at the same time, Zex and Shadow though, I mean, even if you know it's gonna happen, like they're just their execution and their experience with it, and just their overall, tough match. But they're Ska and Daffy are solid players.
Well, for me, like coming in, I think Shadow and Xanxus, like individual level, are probably better players individually. But Daffy and Ska really impressed me in round one. I actually really liked their play. I liked their setups. I liked their coordination. I didn't feel like they had a whole lot of stumbles. And Xexus and Shadow Shield, I talked a bit about it at length. They did this thing where they switched roles, and then Panorama, they still kind of did a little bit of weird things. We only saw them do what we expected them to do, like, once. And so I don't know how in tune they're going to be coming into this round. So I think it's going to be pretty close, actually. I think I still tip it to Xexus and Shadow Shield 3-2, but Daffy and Skaboss definitely looked cleaner in round one than Xexus and Shadow Shield did, in my opinion.
That's one thing I want to recap on. I want to clarify. Daffy and Skaboss are my buddies, and I'm not bashing them by any means. They put a lot of time together on the same team. They're on almost every single night playing. They have the coordination, but I don't think Xexus is going to make that mistake again. I feel like he's going to go right back to doing what he does best, and that's keeping pressure on to set up for the heavy hits. He's always been that type of player, and it works so beautifully for him. He's great at it. So
if we see that, then yeah, I would say 3-0. But just given, I'm making prediction for this one based on what I saw last round. If we see that out of them, yeah, I think it looks real bleak for them.
I don't think there's another player in this game that will follow you around with a psycho knife literally the entire game and hit you with it and somehow manage to not let you erase it, or a debris bullet. So he knows it. If he sticks to it, he's set, man. That is a dangerous team. That is one of my most nervous teams that I'm worried about facing.
Yeah, he's one of the most dogged players there are. Like he's like a pit bull with a bone. He will not let you go. I remember, I think it was last tournament. I was like tilted out of my mind playing versus him on, I think it was Lane versus him and Jester. He just would not leave me alone for like a full 3 minutes. Just wouldn't leave. And that's how Xexus plays, and that can be, sometimes risky because you can get a lot of attacks erased, but he manages to keep them a lot of times and still have enough gas in the tank despite putting down that kind of pressure. There are very few players in this game that can put down similar levels of pressure as Xexus does, and that is impressive.
And Shadow has his own, arsenal of positives to say about him. Like, can you think of many players that are as good in melee as he is? I mean, he can walk with ease almost any sword. He's hard to hit.
Let me posit you a question. How many other players in the game besides Shadow Shield have taken a series versus Guinan in a 1v1?
Xanxus.
That's the only other one.
Yep.
That's it. And even then, that was really early. Guinan didn't know who Xanxus was at the time. Like, he just came in and softballed it. Like, he didn't play that good. And then we saw later they played in
Shadow.
No. Well, I mean, he didn't really know who Shadow was that series either. But no, the first 1v1 tournament we had, me and Guinan didn't know who Xanxus was. Like, we had no idea who he was at all. And so we both kind of softballed it when we played him. And, like, we had some good series. But it wasn't until that later 1v1 tournament that we saw in the quarterfinals where Xanxus and Guinan had that absolutely legendary back and forth series that we really got to see those two players unleash.
Yeah, I still watch that series. Palace is by far and always will be my favorite mindfuck match, where one is popping and the other is trying to attack before he gets popped out. It was just beautiful.
Yeah, the whole thing was such a good match, and in my opinion, there's Tag is a little more up in the air, but when it comes to 1v1, I don't think there's a better player than Guinan. And Shadow Shield is one of the only players to even take a series off of Guinan. So.
Well, that
I think
concludes
that speaks.
our round 2 matchups, and we also got our projected outcomes out of the way. Is there anything that anyone would like to add?
No, I think we're good.
Mirage, Mirage, Mech.
I think I'm good. I think I look forward to some of these matches, some of these newer players. I look forward to seeing what's coming up out of them in the next couple of rounds when they're playing people that are a little bit more on their experience level, and looking forward to the.
Yeah,
I look
same. I
forward
think
to
a lot of these
whooping Bregan's
matchups are going to be
ass.
pretty fun, regardless.
All right, thank you guys for joining us in our Club Baroness Swiss Round 2 episode. We look forward to viewing and casting these matches, and we will see you for Swiss Round 3s.
And one last word. If you caught us midstream, the upload is pretty quick, so the VOD of this should be up in 15 to 20 minutes for anybody who only caught partial parts of this. So thanks, everybody, for being here and tuning in, and we will catch you in future rounds.
How many viewers did you have?
I don't